we have a cracked plastic radiator. So it got cracked in shipping. Couldn't see it until we put the fluid in it. So now we get to take all that back apart.
Hey guys, so it's time to pick a winner for our t-shirt contest that Dad announced in the outro of last week's video. All you had to do to enter to win was put t-shirt down in the comments section. It looks like we have 5 people who commented t-shirt or put a comment down in the comment section. So let's go to a random number generator that I found on Google to make everything fair and square. We set our min number of entries to 1, our max to 5. We hit generate. Okay, so number 4. Who is number 4? Starting at the bottom, because I have it sorted by most recent comments. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like Make It Fix It won a free t-shirt. Congratulations, man. I think that Dad almost did chuck the Fender in the pond by the time he got done on his 5th or 6th iteration of trying to get it sanded down and painted correctly. So we'll comment on this comment that you left, and send us an email with your address and t-shirt information, and we'll get you free t-shirts at your way. Congratulations.
Alright, so it's the next day and I have a new, better attitude. So I'm rested and I'm getting ready to start tearing this stuff apart again. Put the new radiator in, and then maybe we can get it started tonight. Because I also got in that little grommet that I was talking about needing, so now I can put that in. So it makes it all worth it. Alright, so this thing is all back together, I think, unless I forgot something. Pretty sure got everything tight. And I got that grommet in the bottom, so everything's sitting level. And I got the braces up on the top. So now, I'm going to fill it up with antifreeze again. And hopefully we don't hear any trickling sounds. Alright, antifreeze is full to the mark, and I think that's everything. I hear no leaking, so I'm going to go ahead and hook the battery back up, get this plastic off, open up the door, and start her up. Hopefully those ground wires are got good ground right there. It won't start. Well, that went well. I let it run for probably 10 minutes, enough to get it up to temperature. Got a nice warm hose there, so it was circulating right. My level was good on my antifreeze. Didn't have any leaks. And temperature came up right. Didn't hear any weird noises, so that's good. So the only bad thing is I don't have headlights. So I got to figure out if I blew a fuse or what, because I had the driver's side one was working when we started it, and then the bulb on this side was not working, so I took that bulb out, brought it over to this side, and plugged it up, and it didn't work, so I figured it was the bulb. And then when I put the other one back in there, it didn't work, so I might have blown a fuse. So I'll check that out. Okay, so before I get this thing out of here for a week or two, while Paul's vehicle comes back, I'm gonna go ahead and stick the fenders on and the hood and the crash bar and all that, just to get it out of my way in the shop. Just stick them on with a few screws, and also that'll kind of weatherproof it. So if I put it outside, I don't have to worry about covering it all the time. All right, so I've got it just kind of dry fitted on there just to keep it protected from the elements. All right, before I get this thing out of the shop, I want to go ahead and change the oil in it, and I did get some new fuses to check the headlights. I did find that there was 2 of them burned out. 2 low beam headlight fuses were burned out, and I hate where the fuse box is located in these Mustangs. It's way back up in there, which you can't even see because there's no light, but it's hard to get to. But I did find them, so I'll replace those, and then we will make sure the headlights work and get the oil changed. Okay, so here's where the fuse box is located. I'm in the passenger side floorboard, and hopefully you can see which 2 fuses I'm talking about. There, those 2 missing right there on the right hand side are 2 10-amp fuses, and those are the low beam headlights. So I'm gonna put new ones in, and then we'll check it and see if it works. All right, so I've got those fuses changed. Let's turn on the lights, see if we got lights. Hey, there's that one and that one. All right, so that was all the problem. Let me make sure we got brights. Nope. So that means the fuse is blown on the brights too. Alright, so I got on my head and changed that fuse. This one fuse goes to the high beam on both sides for some reason. The low beam is 2 separate fuses, but let's see if we got high beam now. Oops, gotta hook the battery back up. So there's our low beam, high beam. Alright. High beam on both sides. Alright, well, that was easy fix. Alright, so when we shut this hood, you'll be able to tell here, we have 0 gap over here. I mean, it is like no gap at all, but it does line up really nice. So to me, that means the hood just needs to go straight that way. And we know that we've got hood hinge issues because if you remember, this car was hit straight from the front and it buckled that hood up and made a big V out of it, the one that knocked me in the head when I finally got it unhooked from the front.
Here we have a wild Mustang. It's been left alone to fend for itself against an avid mechanic. Let's watch closely and see what happens next. Wow, look at that. The Mustang waited until the mechanic was vulnerable and attacked with its hood. Let's watch that again. It looks as if it was too fast for us to even catch with our cameras. Fascinating.
Then on this side, we have a pretty close gap all the way down. It just, like I said, if the hood was moved this direction, until we get down to about here. And this is our problem area is right here. So we've got like a little hump. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not. Maybe right here. So there's a little bow right here, and it was also one right here. So when it was hit, this was pushed down. You know, it's hit right here. And so that has messed up our curve. So the trick is going to be able to be getting this bow out and all this pull back up and out to make our gap right, and then do all of our body work. but we really want to try to save this fender instead of buying that new one, as we talked about on an earlier episode. We got, you know, a perfect gap over here, and we don't want to mess with this door. So to keep from having to blend into the door, we want to be able to fix this up here and just blend into the top of this fender when we paint the hood. So that's the trick, and that's what's going to save us all the time and energy and blending onto the door. So once we get all that correctly lined up, then we'll put the bumper on and make sure everything lines up right with that. So first thing, take these fenders back off and get the hood hinges changed so that we know we've got straight hinges, and then we'll move the hood around. Got the fenders off and the new hood hinges installed. So I think I'm going to do a little body work on this bad fender. There's where that hump was that I kind of beat down lower so that I can do filler work and stuff on it. And then I got this bad area up here. So I think I'll get some sandpaper and sand that up where I can see exactly where the highs and lows are and start trying to work that around with a hammer. And then we might put back on over here and see what that did by having the new hinges on there. If we can move the whole hood this way and make that gap better on both sides. I've got these highs and lows really close for non-body man standards. So I think with filler, you know, I can get all those highs and lows down and you'll see it. Same here, I think I've got all that same amount. So I should be able to put this back on the car and mess with it some more, trying to get those gaps right with the hood, and know that I'm close anyway with this and not worry about scratching it up. Alright, so as you can see, this thing is so, man, it's just so warped. I could, you know, space it and get the gap spaced right, but I'm down like real low here. And you know, the hood can come up some because I've got the bumper inside the hood set really low. But even if it comes up this much to be right down here, I'm still a 1/4 inch. Not a 1/4 inch, but a good 1/8 of an inch. The hood is lower than the side right here, a good 1/8 of an inch. So I'm pretty sure that this fender is just really warped because, you know, we got problems from here this way, like it was bent down when it was hit this direction. I think it just buckled it up. I don't know if we'll ever get that back out. So I'll play with it around some more and see if I can get it to de-warp. But I might go ahead and get that other fender I've got, that black one, and put on there and just see if it fits right, and know then that this thing is the problem, if it fits perfectly. So let's do that real quick. Okay, so here's this black fender. I mean, the holes line up perfectly on it. And when I push this hood down, I'm still just a little bit low, but I mean just barely. And I'm low up there, so all I gotta do is raise that hinge back. The hinge is probably a little too low over there. So if I raise that back up, this thing is probably going to be just right. So let me do that and then we'll check it out. So after about, I don't know, 30 minutes or so of adjusting in and out, left and right, up and down, I got these gaps just real good. That's with the new black fender on it. So this one needs to come, the hood needs to come forward just a little bit right here to make this match, but that'll be easy. So now we know that this is okay as far as, I mean, it will fit if you have a new fender. So let's put the red one back on and see how far off it is, and if there's any possible way we can get it beat back into submission. If not, we're just gonna have to use this black one. So that'll cause a problem with the paint, but I'd rather have the fitment, I think. All right, so we know that this fender over here, everything in the hood is adjusted just exactly right. So, and the fender is close. I could live with this right here, but then it kind of goes up right here and then way down below it. So we're gonna have to do some, I don't know. I just don't know if we can make it, warp it back the way it goes or not. I'll stretch around on it and try to do something and see if I can do it. If not, we're just gonna use the black one. Okay, so I think this is gonna work, believe it or not. I got some, work to do with filler and stuff. I got a little lump right here still I need to get out, but the gap looks pretty good. It's a little bit bigger on that side, but I can move it in a little bit more. Fender. So I guess we'll continue on with body work and see how good we can get this to look. Got these areas really close to where I think filler will make it right. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up. I've got it scratched down to 80 grit sandpaper. That's good for that filler to grab hold of. So I'll go ahead and get a layer on those two spots, get it pushed down in there really tight in those scratches, and then we'll let it dry and start sanding. Alright, so I've got the filler on all the spots I need. I'm going to let it dry, and then we will sand it down and see if we need to put some more on there. I think I've got this thing where it needs to be. It's nice and smooth. I don't notice any humps or lumps. So I think I've got it where it needs to be, and the gaps are all good. So let's try to dry fit the bumper, which is right here on there, and make sure everything still looks good before we start thinking about taking this back apart and scuffing it up and getting ready for paint. Alright, so this thing will fit right once I don't even have the little piece on the side here, the clip that snaps into, but it'll snap up in there, right? And this one, it's on over here, but I don't want to snap it all the way in. So, it looks good. I'll shut the hood, make sure nothing goes on with the hood. So, I think it's going to be good. It's good enough to go ahead and start getting ready for paint. I'm going to start this sanding, scuffing process with the bumper, and all we're going to do is use a gray scuff pad there, and some of this scuff agent right there. Squirt it on there, and it's almost like Comet kind of, or soft scrub is kind of what it looks like, and it just helps it to scrub and clean and all that and get ready for paint. So then after we do the bumper, we'll get probably get the hood out here and do the underside of it. And we'll use a red scuff pad for that. And then we'll probably just go ahead and get the whole thing scuffed, and then we'll paint the underside first. And we'll put everything back together and paint the whole thing. Well, guys, thanks for watching another episode of Rebuild It, and we appreciate you tuning in and keep going with us on this 2010 Mustang build. And if you're new to the channel, we do have quite a few new subscribers recently, and you feel like you've just joined in the middle of something and you have no idea what's going on or where did we get this Mustang. We do have a playlist on our channel, so if you go back and just look at the playlist, that I think this is episode 6 or so, you can look back and see the whole line of what we've done to this thing up to this point. So go back and check that out. And also, if you'd like a Rebuild It t-shirt, just make sure that you're subscribed, and then go down to the comment section and type in Mustang. So Mustang, and then we will pick a winner next week and tell you who won. Thanks again for watching.
And always remember, don't retire it if you can rebuild it. See you guys next week. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in and watching this week's episode of Rebuild It. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any awesome content. Have a good one.